What is up, you guys? It's Brady here with Bradyoakfitness. I am really excited to make this video. It is about my back transformation. I'm gonna talk about 4 of my favorite back exercises and take you through them at the gym, exactly how you should start doing them and incorporating them into your program. I'm also gonna talk about kind of like a scientific, evidence-based approach to your back training in the gym and give you like real life application, what you should be doing in the gym, how you should train, how you should program, exactly how you should, basically create your workout program to build up your back. And yeah, it's gonna be a good one, so let's get into this. My back used to be one of my biggest weaknesses, and I identified this like a few years back, so I started to really focus on my back training, getting wider, getting thicker traps, things like that, but I've always struggled with it. I was pleasantly surprised when I competed this year in Classic Physique. I did men's physique and Classic Physique at the Summer Shredding Classic, and turns out my back, actually what I thought was my weakness, ended up being one of my strengths. And I went into the show thinking that it would be one of my weaknesses, but after hearing back the feedback from the judges, my back was fine. And I'm gonna put a clip here or a picture or something. You can see that in Classic Physique, I was up against much bigger guys. The guy to my right was about 20 pounds bigger than me, and the guy that actually won my class, he was 55 pounds bigger than me. But you can see from this back shot, there actually isn't too much of a difference between me and them. And I was just blown away that my back had grown this much that I could keep up with much bigger guys on stage. Yeah, I'm gonna go straight into like the application of like what you can do better in order to have your own back transformation, really blow up the back. And yeah, overall just having a bigger back is not only gonna help you with just stage if you want to compete, but also just like looking bigger in your t-shirts, feeling good about yourself like everywhere you go. You don't want to look good just from the front, you want to look good from the back too. So yep, here we go. I'm gonna take you straight to the gym now. I'm gonna show you my 4 favorite back training exercises and exactly how to perform them, how to do them. So let's go to the gym. All right, so this first exercise is gonna be focused on kind of like our inner lower lats. So think like the Christmas tree on your lower back, and it's a close grip lat pull down. So I'm gonna show you how to do it correctly. And when you're doing it, you really wanna think about like your lower lat. So not so much on the side, but like that lower inner lat. So here we go. Pick a moderate weight for this one. So up top, you're gonna let it stretch all the way. But on the way down, you're gonna bend a little bit back like this. So it's kind of a mixture between like almost like a row, but a pull down as well. So you're gonna come down right here. And what I'm thinking about right here is literally squeezing my inner lats together. Back up. Just like that. Okay, so this is actually my all-time favorite lat exercise. I swear by this one. It is the single arm lat pull down. I've talked about this in previous videos, and I've done it a couple of different ways. So sometimes I'll actually do it kneeling on the ground with the cable machine. In this case, I use the exact same machine that I was using for like lat pull downs and in close grip lat pull downs. But you're just gonna use a single handle like this. And basically I'm focused on keeping it in the frontal plane the entire time. So keeping it right next to my body. I sit on the edge of the bench right here, and I kind of lean away from it like this, so that the line of pull is a little bit diagonal coming in, just exactly like what the lat does as a mover, okay? And then I'm basically aiming my elbow for my lower back, just like this. And I really let it stretch at the top. Just like that. Okay, so next up is a traditional lat pull down, but I just want to make sure that everyone's doing it right because I see a lot of bad form when I see this one. First of all, don't go behind the neck. Like, that's just stupid and you're not going to get a full range of motion. Now what we want to focus on is the stretch at the top and then coming down as low as possible. Otherwise you're just cheating yourself. So come a little farther than shoulder width. There's that myth where the wider you go, the wider your back will grow. That's not true. So just grab something a little further than shoulder width. Come down. Now you want to stretch at the top, so like this. And then the first movement should be with your lats, not your elbows. So bring your lats down first and then go. So it should look like this. All right, so yeah, I've really struggled with working my middle back over the years I've been training my back, but this is a specific exercise that I have felt really well, surprisingly, and I think it all has to do with just the angle. But basically, we're set up like a traditional horizontal row right here, but instead of sitting down and doing a traditional horizontal row, we're gonna do a single arm row, and we're actually gonna stand up when we do it, but we're gonna use this to support our body, okay, for some leverage. But basically what we're going for here is to retract your scapula, aka bring your shoulder blades together. When your shoulder blade moves closer to your spine, that's when you're using your scapular retractors, like your middle traps and your rhomboids, and that's how you're gonna grow that muscle. So the thing that I like about this too is just the angle of it, because when you think about a traditional row, you're kind of like, you want your scapula to go in this way, but you're pulling out that way. So your elbow's going that way, but you want your scapula to go this way, and it's just awkward how that works. But in this case, you're pulling kind of more towards you, and your scapula is going this way, and you're pulling this way. It just makes a lot more sense. Hopefully that made sense. But basically, this is how you're gonna do it. All right, so I'm gonna set up here. Get my foot down as leverage, right here and right here. Okay. And I'm gonna let it pull my shoulder blade forward, and then bring my shoulder blade back together. Just like this. So right here, you should feel your middle trap being pulled, and then back. And notice I'm not like twisting my body so much, okay? It's mostly just in my shoulder girdle that's doing all the moving. All right guys, so we're back from the gym. Those are my 4 favorite exercises that you should start doing. And as you can see, I kind of split up the exercises between pull downs and some sort of row. Now the reason I do this is because your back is primarily made up of your lats and then your scapular retractors, which are going to be your middle traps and also your rhomboids. Now it's important to note that the rhomboids are actually underneath your middle traps. So the muscle that you actually see, those big like, muscles in between your shoulder blades, that's technically your traps and mostly your middle traps. Your upper trap fibers are gonna be up here, which can be important, but they don't have as much room for growth as your middle traps do, which actually do make up a huge portion of that bit right here that you can kind of see from the front, but then also the middle part, and then your traps do extend down, so you do have lower traps, but all the exercises that we did there are gonna work all your entire trap muscle, and then also your lats, which are gonna create that width. So that's how we're gonna split it up in between like pull downs, which are mostly going to be lats, and then rows, which are mostly going to be scapular retractors, aka your traps. So programming is going to be key. Now you could do the best exercises in the world, you could do the 4 exercises that I just showed you at the gym, but your back still could not grow that well because it all comes down to programming and making sure that your program's solid. I can't express this enough, and as a coach, it's frustrating when guys, they think that their training program is awesome because they just threw together a bunch of random exercises for a bunch of random sets, and they think that training isn't really their issue because that's the easy part, right? You just show up and you lift, right? That easy, right? Unfortunately, it's not actually that easy. There is a lot of ways that we can optimize our training, and it all comes down to intelligent programming. So we're gonna go over some tips here that I have for you guys. Now, I'm gonna give credit where it's due. A lot of this information has come from the guys at Renaissance Periodization, such as Dr. Mike Israetel and IFBB Pro Jared Feather. They're awesome, and if you don't follow them on Instagram or anything like that, you definitely should watch their content on YouTube. They are probably like leading the pack when it comes to hypertrophy science and just like making it really understandable and ingestible for the rest of us so that we can see better results. So I wanna thank them for a lot of my philosophies when it comes to lifting. And then I've obviously mingled in my own experience as a coach who's been coaching for about 5 years, and just, you know, myself and training and things like that. So going into the programming when it comes to your back, you're gonna shoot for about 10 to 20 sets per week for your back. Okay, so 10 being kind of the minimum that you need in order to grow a little bit, and 20 being kind of like the maximum recoverable volume. So any more than 20 sets over, let's say, a couple of sessions a week, you're probably just not gonna recover too well from it, and you're probably gonna see like worse results. So note that more is not always better. You wanna be in that perfect range where your body can like adapt and actually overcome the training stimulus so that it'll actually grow. If you do too much, you're not gonna be able to do that. So I'm gonna start off by saying, first of all, say hi to Daisy in the background. Hey, Daisy. All right, I'm gonna start off by saying that I think you should start off training your back 2 times a week. And like I said, about 10 to 20 sets per week. That means that if you were to split that in half, you'd have from between 5 and 10 back sets twice a week, okay? I personally have tried 3 times per week training my back, and I couldn't quite recover from it, so I went back down to 2. Some people are gonna recover better than others. Now, if you do 3 times per week, you could probably handle a few extra sets on top of that, like 10 to 20 range, but just be careful. I would recommend starting at 2 times per week. Now, what you wanna do is split that volume, that 10 to 20 sets per week, into your pull downs and then your rows, because once again, your pull downs are gonna help with your lats, but your rows are gonna help with your middle back. Now, what you can do is prioritize one. Let's say if your lats are your weakness and you have decent traps, but you don't have a wide back and you wanna work on your V-taper, you could probably put like maybe 60 to 75% of your back volume onto your lats, so pull downs, and then the other, 40 to 25% could be more rows. Now, if you're not really sure, I would just split it 50-50, so 50% of that 10 to 20 sets per week on your lats, the other 50% of that 10 to 20 sets per week on your rows, aka your traps. Another thing I would do is start your workouts with your back. So for instance, if you're running a push-pull leg split and you're on your pull day, you're gonna work your back and your biceps. I would start with your back. Now, when I say 10 to 20 sets per week, I am talking about working sets that are hard and high intensity. I'm not talking about warm-up sets. So if you're doing like lat pull downs, hit a few warm-up sets with lighter weight, but as soon as you hit that harder, heavier weight, that you're gonna be in that between like 10 to 20 rep range, that's when the sets start. And now the one thing that's huge here is going to be intensity. It's something I preach literally every single day on my Instagram. You have to go to near failure in order for these sets to really count. And the closer you get to failure, the more anabolic the set becomes. So please train to almost failure. But anyway, guys, that's basically how I've transformed my back over these years. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to give it a like, share it with all your friends who need to work on their backs, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.